Hello everyone, this is Jake from Down the Weeble Hole, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I've got Jordan here, fellow weeb expert extraordinaire.
Yes, thank you.
And today we are going to be doing our top 10 anime we watched in 2020. Compared to our other videos, we did cheat a little bit. We usually don't put season 2s or season 3s or season 4s.
Or continuations of any sense.
Into these types of videos.
Yeah, despite being quarantined this year, this is the year I actually watched the least anime, surprisingly enough. But I think the same goes for Jake, and I don't know what the factors were with that. Maybe it's just that we were a little burnt out.
I can explain. I can explain. I was making more videos about anime than actually watching anime.
Yeah, that's fair. And I was getting into a lot of other different things than anime this year, but I'm still a huge anime fan, don't get me wrong, and definitely I think that's going to start re-spiking in 2021, but let's not dwell over the fact that we're going to have some cheats in this episode. Let's just get right into our list. We definitely don't want to make this as long as a video as last week, so yeah, let's go. So we're going to start off with my number 10, and I have Zoku Owari Monogatari at number 10. I explained this in our awards video, but I thought this was a great way to cap off the series, really finish it out, and technically, chronologically, it's not the final part in the series. I think it's Hana Monogatari, but I really liked the concept of recapping everything that happened and him having to, Araragi having to go back and sort of fix or figure out everything that went wrong. And what the problems are with this world, and him gradually figuring out that everybody's like reversed and mirrored in a way is really interesting. That the fact that he pulled the whole world through a mirror, and it's a short series compared to the rest of Monogatari, but it was definitely, I feel, one of the better ones. So that's my number 10.
It was a good anime. I wish I remembered more of it, but I think I watched in like January, so that's really far back.
Yeah.
But my number 10 is Flowers of Evil. Flowers of Evil is a very ugly looking show, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I think the animation works so perfectly with what the story is trying to tell. The story is all about degeneracy, pretty much, and like what happens if you don't relate with society and like how you interact with that. And then if you find someone who feels the same way that you do, and it was a very like dark anime with like a very like not that grandiose of a story. It's just how it was done was very like disturbing, and I really enjoyed how psychological it was, and I wish there was a second season. There won't be, so I'm gonna have to read it. If you want something unique and something different, just a little bit different.
Just a little bit, yeah.
You should definitely check out Flowers of Evil.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. It's in my plan to watch already, and I've heard you talk about it a couple of times this year, so definitely something that I'm going to look into. But yeah, let's go to your number 9.
Okay, so I brought this up in the previous video, but my number 9 is Michiko and Hatchin. It was my most underrated anime that I've watched this year. I don't see it talked about anywhere. As I specified before, it takes place in South America, which is like unheard of for anime to take place in. Excellent animation, incredible for the time, 2008, so it looks really crisp, really fluid. It has an amazing female protagonist that I love. She's really badass, and I didn't know that girls with guns is a genre, but that's how I found it. So that was pretty unique. I want to check out a bit more of anime in that genre. They seem pretty fun, but definitely check this one out. It reminds me a lot of Cowboy Bebop in its like noir kind of setting. It was just great.
All right, cool. Well, my number 9 is Bloom Into You. It's the Yuri anime. And I considered putting Nana in this spot.
Okay, nice.
But Bloom Into You, I felt, was more interesting in a sense because the relationship that the two girls have is extremely toxic. And it's hard to see that at the beginning, but the further you progress into the season, the more you start to understand that. And I love that because it leaves the door open to so many different things that can happen. And it's not straightforward. Whereas with Nana, I felt a lot of the time that it was as interesting as it was, I could see where it was going a lot of the time. And there were a few surprises, obviously, but Bloom Into You, I really felt sort of shattered my expectations of what I expect a Yuri anime to be. And I really like that. So that's my number 9.
Yeah, I like that anime. I prefer Citrus, but it was an interesting take on the Yuri genre.
Oh yeah, obviously I couldn't put Citrus on the on the list, but because we didn't watch it this year. But yeah, Bloom Into You definitely super interesting, and I'm excited to see if we ever get more.
All right, nice. Let's hear your number 8.
My number 8 is Kaguya Love is War Season 2, which did air this year.
That is mine as well.
Nice, sweet. All right, we just keep doing this. This keeps happening. We keep getting stuff in the same position. But yeah, Love is War is great, and Season 2 I think did things differently enough to where it was an interesting enough watch, and it wasn't just more of the same. And I love the introduction of the new characters, and I love that Kaguya really starts to become the central focus, as the name of the show suggests. We really start to veer off of Shirogane's thoughts and inner monologues, and really focus on Kaguya this season, and I really like that. I also loved Ishigami's moments near the end of the season. I think those were great, and he has one of the saddest stories, honestly, in the entire show, and I don't see many more being much sadder than that.
Yeah, so as you know from our discussion a year ago, I wasn't a huge fan of Kaguya Season 1, but Season 2 blew me out of the water. My issue with Kaguya-sama was these characters felt more just like pawns that you could just move around, and they were just doing funny, quirky things. This season made them feel like actual characters and gave them actual backstories, and I felt for them. The president is actually an awesome character. He was really well developed this season, because last season I couldn't tell you one thing about him. But this time, I'm yo, he's actually pretty cool, and I understand why Kaguya would like this guy. That other backstory with Ishigami, incredible. That's when it hit the 9. I was yes, this is a 9 out of 10 anime in my mind. I love it. It had multiple times where it spiked to a 9 in my opinion. I also love the new character. I forget her name, but she's absolutely adorable, and she has some crazy funny scenes. I love them.
Yeah, Miko's a great character as well. Great new character. I love the look of where this is going with her as an addition into the student council. And what I really like the most about this season, I feel, is the fact that it wasn't limited to just 3 parts in an episode and they're all skits, right? We had episodes like the actual election or the debate episode that was an entire episode where it never broke.
I love that because it felt like real characters.
It felt like a more real anime,
yeah,
exactly.
It wasn't just a slice of life comedy skit.
Yeah, man, but I think that Season 1 alley-ooped it perfectly into Season 2. I think it had a great setup because you get to know the characters and a little bit of their quirks, and you really get a good feeling for the comedy element of the show, and then it starts to get a little more serious. So
yeah, a little bit different.
Yep. So let's hear your number 7.
My number 7 is a cheat. It is Railgun T.
Nice.
What is it? A certain scientific Railgun T. Sorry. Awesome season. I love Railgun, and Railgun continues to impress me while Index suffers every time.
Yeah.
Misaka, amazing protagonist. I really just want to say Railgun has one of the greatest female casts of any anime.
Yep.
And this season really showed just how wonderful these female characters are. Kuroko is so awesome. She really kicks ass this season. Satin also as well has a nice episode with Frenda. So I don't know if you've seen that one, but that one's a very good episode.
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
And then the other dude, Kongo, bro. Kongo is legit one of the best characters in anime, dude. I love her. She's so pompous, but she's really just wants friends. And those 2 other girls, epic scene, epic fight. I'm so happy they got their time to shine. Just a really amazing season. The other half of the series that you haven't seen, I was a little confused on what it was about, but then when it clicked in my mind, I was okay, this is getting a 9.
Damn, okay. So I actually have to finish it. I haven't finished the season yet, and this is why I didn't include it. I meant to before the year ended, but I didn't get around to it in time. And that's the reason it didn't make my list. But I'm sure that if I watched the rest of it, it probably would have been here over something like Owari Monogatari or Bloom Into You. And the reason for that is that I've watched the first 14 episodes and they're amazing. So the only reason that it's not here is because I didn't get a chance to finish it. But I 100% agree with you putting it on your list. And I appreciate it because at least it makes the video. So yeah, That's Jake's number 7, and then mine is the pet girl of Sakuraso. Anybody who's watched funny compilations from anime on YouTube has probably seen clips from this show. I decided to actually take it one step further and watch it, and it's actually a really sad story. A lot of the time, I thought it was going to be mostly comedy, and there are great elements of comedy here, but there are a lot of moments that really make you feel for the characters. They're all in a dorm where they're basically like outcasted from regular dorms at their school. And I believe their high school, it's geared toward writing and filmmaking and stuff like that. And most of the people in this outcast dorm are like filmmakers, or they want to be like animators or stuff like that. And the main character has a hard time finding himself and getting his ass moving, basically. And it's a really good coming of age story, I feel, for a lot of the characters here, and the way that it ends as well. One of the last episodes really almost got me into tears. It's a really good show. There's a lot of monotonous moments as well, and it's not the greatest show, but I ended up giving it an 8 because they really did well. It's animated by JC Staff as well, who we know are a little bit better at doing more like non-fight scene animations, right? They're a little bit better at slice of life, I feel. So they did a really good job on this show, and it really translated well, and I really liked it.
When you said dorm, all I could think about were the Slifer Reds. So,
goddamn Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's my number 7. My number 6 is Fire Force. I didn't want to put it too high up because I really felt like there was a lot of recency bias there. I did enjoy the show. Don't get me wrong. But I do have my problems with season 1. I do think that season 2 is great, and I love the direction that the story is going. And I love the use of the mystery box in this show is super good. So I had to put it here. We discussed this in the Anime Awards. Character design, beautiful. Animation, great. Dialogue, about what you'd expect from a shonen, but just a little notch higher, I feel. And yeah, it's a solid show. I can't take that away from it. And I regret stopping after episode 6 when I did last year. But not only you, but other people that I've spoken to, including my coworker Zach, have told me that it gets a lot better, and I can now see that now that I've actually watched through it. So it does take my number 6 spot.
My number 6 is the Konosuba movie. As I stated before, I don't remember too much about it, but I remember laughing really hard at all the hilarious scenes. One of my favorites is when the antagonist, I forget what their name is, but they like absorb Kazuma into them, yeah. And he's like, "What's that?" It was great. It was a great moment. I remember that scene. That one was so good,
and everything leading up to that scene too. Just the fact that like Kazuma and Megumi are about to get it on.
Oh yes.
And the fucking alarm interrupts them. That's beautiful. So good. What a great film is. It makes for an awesome season 3. You definitely couldn't have made a full season out of what happens here. In this arc, but it's a perfect substitute for it. Like it's excellent that it came out as a film. I don't think I would have done it any other way personally.
And I think the animation is insane. It was absolutely beautiful. Like that last fight scene.
Yeah.
Like my eyes were like in ecstasy, dude. It is so good.
I mean, it always is. All of Megumin's explosions, like from day one, looked amazing, and you already knew that this was going to be a beautiful anime. And it's actually my number 5 spot. So we're going to skip right ahead to your number 5 after we're done talking about it. But yeah, no, Konosuba was, it remains I think my favorite comedy series, period. Like there's nothing that's better than this in my mind. I think it's just so good. The fact that half of the stuff that the voice actors do is ad-libbed as well. Nice. I don't know if that happened that much in this movie, but it definitely happens throughout the first 2 seasons. And I cannot wait for season 3.
Yeah. Like, Konosuba is definitely one of my favorite comedies, but a different comedy took the number 5th spot, and that is Interspecies Reviewers. Okay. I'm probably, like, the only person in this universe who absolutely loved this anime to death, dude. I was laughing.
No way, dude. Nux is on your side. Nux Taku's on your side.
Nice. It was absolutely so funny. It was so ridiculous, the things that were happening. And I can't talk about it on YouTube or we're going to get demonetized, like my review on it. Jordan, you're gonna have to put like a friendly, safe image in the background while we speak about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
I'll just put a giant red X over an image of it.
I'm just saying, if you are over the age of 18 and you like raunchy, disgusting humor, check it out. It was really fun. It reminds me a lot of Prison School and like how they discuss all these things. So it was a good time, and it changed my perspective on things a little bit. So that was cool, and just all the different types of like women they meet, like the monster girls.
Yeah,
it was always like something new to like check out. It was great. It always kept me invested.
All right, cool. All right, give me your number 4.
So number 4, you probably have no idea what to expect from this one, but it is Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars, the last season of Sailor Moon. It was never dubbed for us when we were kids, and I finally got around to it. They finally dubbed it, and I have to say, this is probably one of the best Sailor Moon seasons. It's probably my second favorite season after the one with Saturn. Probably the best antagonist with Sailor Galactica. Really awesome. She's voiced by Carrie Keranen, who's like one of my favorite voice actresses, so I'm a little biased there. But the series was a little darker, and it ended really on like a high note, and it just felt good finishing a series that I started 20 years ago, and it lived up. And they changed the opening song this season, and it's a banger. It's really good.
Damn. Okay. So that's really cool. It's something so ancient, I guess you could say, it has made it onto your list. My number 4 is definitely a little more recent. We have Katanagatari, and again, this is the show where each episode's 48 minutes long. They're chasing down swords. They're looking for 12 blades, or I think it's 12 blades. And let me tell you, I did not expect the kind of character development among the two main characters that I got in this show. The way that this show starts off, I think it's just going to be an idiot traveling around with a strategist the entire time. And by the end of it, it's almost like it's reversed. And one of them's a bigger idiot than the other one used to be. And the idiot has turned into sort of like a reasonable human being. You really have to watch it to understand what I'm trying to say. But it's a really cool story because a lot of its lore is rooted in Japanese history. And obviously a lot of it is like fictional mythology that's made up for the purpose of the story. But I just thought, like, between the animation, it's White Fox, by the way. Gorgeous animation. And art as well. I didn't think I'd like the art as much as I did, and I ended up loving it because it looks so different than anything else in anime. But it's so good. It's to the levels of like Tatami Galaxy, kind of different. So yeah, no, it's just a really, really good show, and by the end of it, I was just like, yeah, this is definitely something worth recommending to people. So yeah, that's my number 4.
I think it's on my list. I do want to check it out, hopefully this year.
Moving on to my number 3, we have ReZero Season 2. So yet another cheat. And I was really looking forward to this season, and it didn't disappoint. It really gave me a lot of what I wanted. It gave me answers on Rosewall a little bit. It gave me answers on Beatrice a little bit. It gave me Best Girl, Echidna. It gave me Satella, meeting Satella for the first time. And it's only the first half of the second season. So I can only imagine that the second half's going to be just as good, if not better. At least I hope.
Oh, I think it's going to be better, bro. This is like the culmination of what season 1 is like going towards. So I can't wait. I can't wait for season 2, part 2, whatever you want to call it. But it was a really good first half of the season. I really enjoyed it. Subaru's backstory, or like dream kind of,
was killer. Yeah, that was so good.
That was a really big highlight for the season. Really good stuff. But my number 3 was my number 1 for like the longest time, and it got pushed back and pushed back again. But I watched it very early in this year. It is Nana. I absolutely love this series to death. I'm so sad that it'll probably never be finished because these characters felt so real to me. The music, incredible. I love the punk Japanese rock style. And like, I watched it dub, and the dub was so good. It had like all these like voice actors I haven't heard in such a long time, and it was just, I didn't expect it to be as good as like everyone was saying, because it has like an 8 point something, right? So you're like, it's from 2008. It kind of looks horrible. Like the animation doesn't look that good.
Yeah, it looks like it's from the late 90s.
But then you actually watch it and you're like, damn, this story is actually really awesome. How the relationships work and how the story like progresses. Like you didn't finish it, so you don't really know how it ends, but it was heartbreaking sometimes.
No, I know. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, like Sachiko, dude. It's just like, what? How did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, how did she predict her name? What?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's just
that's such a good scene. That's so funny.
That's so. Oh god, that really hit me hard. There was like, there's no way, but still, it felt real. I think that made it feel more real.
Nice.
Was that like, what are the odds of that happening, right?
Yeah.
And putting something that like is that unlikely in a series that already feels really real. Mm-hmm. Moments like that for me really made me love that show, and I really do have to finish it. I watched it subbed actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I love it subbed. I have flip-flopped between sub and dub occasionally, just to hear like specific moments and how they're executed in the dub, and they're well done. I don't have a problem with it. It's just that I got accustomed to the sub, so I'm going to continue it subbed, you know? But I think that the dub is very solid as well, and I think it's fine to watch it either way. But yeah, no, definitely, I can understand you putting that at your number 3. It didn't make my list, unfortunately, because I also watched it very early in the year, and once again, I didn't finish it. Same situation as with Railgun. So those two might make the list in 2021, but we'll see what happens.
We'll have to see.
All right.
Yeah. But I guess I'll go to my number 2, and that is Fire Force. Fire Force really like wowed me because, as we say before, you were like, Fire Force ain't that good, and I'm like, okay, I'll push it behind, I'll get to it eventually. And I finally got to it, and I was like, wow, this was actually really awesome. That sound effect Shinra does with his feet is like iconic in my brain now. I'm like, I love that sound effect.
What sound effect?
Just like the boosting sound of his flames, just like.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about the Adola Link, because that sound effect is sick.
That one too. That one's an awesome sound too. I love that sound effect, but I love just the impact of his kicks. They're so good, and there's lots of cool fights in this series. The story is really awesome, like really well done.
It's unique.
Yeah.
But you know what? I actually thought about this last night before I fell asleep. The setup to the story feels a lot like FMA. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you look at Amaterasu, pi, right? That's a circle that we're talking about here. And the pillars alongside Amaterasu are where the sacrifices would be. And we have sacrifices in Brotherhood. So, and they're people who have like seen the other world. So I think this is heavily influenced by Brotherhood.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really feeling the Full Metal Alchemist influence in Fire Force now that I'm really looking at it, especially at least for that part.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Oh no, also just the vibe of it as well.
Yeah, but no, super good show. I underestimated it, and I didn't really give it a chance early on, but I definitely should have. I spoke about it earlier in my number 6 position, but yeah, no, definitely deserves to be, I think, on both our lists.
Yeah, and I highly recommend it. If you're on the fence about it, please check it out, and then get past at least the first season. If you didn't like it, well, then you didn't like it, but hopefully you become a fan like we both did this year.
Yeah, speaking of not giving stuff a chance, my number 2 is something that I really didn't give a chance, but I think it was well merited. And it's weird to say this about an anime, but honestly, if you get to episode 130, it'll be worth it. Trust me. But it's like, I would never do that to somebody, right? I would never be like, dude, you got to get to like episode 110 or whatever it is, right? I can't remember the exact episode number, but yeah, my number 2 spot is Black Clover. And I was blown away. I didn't expect to be as invested in this show by the time I was done the first arc as I am. It's really that good, and it's the way that it finalizes its first plot's arc and the twists at the end, and there is also a lot of really interesting character growth that happens with very specific characters. This show is the epitome of starting off horribly and just evolving into something amazing.
That's great. That's
really
awesome,
is, yeah.
because Boruto just keeps sucking. So maybe I'll check out Black Clover sometimes. Probably, maybe not this year. I think I'd want it to be like a little closer to being done before getting to it.
Oh, we don't know how long it's going to be, though.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? It might be a Shippuden. That's awesome, but obviously you had a number one, right? So let's hear that.
Yeah. Can you take a guess at what it is?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea what it could be. Is it?
Yeah, because now that ReZero and Black Clover are out of the way.
Is it Haikyuu? Is it Haikyuu? Like, that's all that's left.
No, it's not Haikyuu. No, it's something that I watched new this season.
What is it? Let's hear it.
This year, excuse me. And it's Mob Psycho.
Ah, yes. Sure.
100.
Nice.
Yeah. Mob Psycho was incredible. For the longest time, I was like, I'm probably going to like this show, but not that much. I was wrong. I really like this show. It's freaking sick, dude. And especially, I think what really made it my number one of the year, looking back at it, was the second season fight. The one against Mogami, the one in the mind.
Oh my god. It's been a long, long time since I've watched it, but I kind of remember it, kind of.
It's the most incredibly animated thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's up there. It's really beautiful.
Stunning, and there's so many like killer moments. I almost made my moment of the year when Reagan gets Shigeo's powers.
Oh yeah, dude, that moment.
When they get transferred to him and he just starts becoming a badass all of a sudden, you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, dude, I'm like, is he actually strong?
Yeah, like for a second you're like, no way. There's no way. So
that moment's so good. That moment's sick.
Yeah, and the broccoli at the end of season 2 as well, a giant broccoli that was teased in the OP of season 1, by the way.
Damn, nice.
At some point in the opening, you see like a mushroom cloud explosion that turns into a broccoli, but like it's so hard to even think of that as something relevant with everything else that's going on in the OP. The two openings are stellar, by the way. I do want to mention that they're fantastic, and I really like the characters, all of them. Every single character is interesting in their own way. Obviously, Reagan takes the cake for me, but like everybody, Mob, his brother, blonde-haired dude whose name I can't remember right now, the one who ends up with the giant hair.
With the hair?
So good. Yeah,
Dude, that guy's so funny. That hair, oh my god, that hair, bro. He's like Marge. He's like the Marge Simpson of anime.
That's definitely my number one. I love this show, and I can't wait to see more of it or read more of it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anybody who watched our last video, by the way, if you could just quickly make a guess as to what you think Jake's number one is in the comments. I have a pretty good idea. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that it took up half his freaking categories. But hit us with it, man. Give us
it's One Piece.
Shut up. Give us the real old school gem. Let's go.
Okay, so if you watched last video, you know it's Yu Yu Hakusho. Holy moly, like, people have been telling me to watch this, like, the internet won't shut up about it. I finally checked it out, and it destroyed my expectations. I was like, this is what I love about anime. This is like everything I love, like, culminate into like one amazing package. I'm a shonen hound. I love shonen anime more than anything else. It really gets me pumped. Dragon Ball is my second favorite shonen. One Piece is my first, obviously, but Yu Yu Hakusho reminded me so much of Dragon Ball. Just like the style, the animation. It was like, but now we've went from the 80s to the 90s, so like it's a little bit better. But amazing characters. All the characters are super sick. Yusuke, an amazing protagonist. Kuwabara is like one of my favorite anime characters of all time. He's hilarious. Voice actor is incredible. Kurama and Hiei also make up the team of four, and those two are super sick as well. The anime actually was going fast. In like 30 episodes, like 5 different arcs already happened, and I was like, holy crap, I'm only at episode 30, and like so much actually happened. So many sick fights. And then we get the best tournament arc of anime, the Dark Tournament, and I'm like, holy crap, it's so good. It like non-stop fighting and like awesome character designs, awesome fun characters. One of my favorite announcers ever is from this show. This cat girl, she's sick. She's awesome.
Wait, better than Food Wars is announced?
Yes, 1,000 times better than her.
Wow. Okay.
But she's still not better than the Dragon Ball announcer. No one beats that guy. That guy's a sick. Then after the Dark Tournament, it's like, okay, how are they going to live up to like that hype? The next arc is super sick too, and they were able to like maybe not be better than the Dark Tournament, but they were close enough. And then the series ends kind of out of nowhere. It hurt. I was sad that it was over, but I'm also happy it was over before they could ruin it. And whatever his name is, he moved on to Hunter x Hunter, and I do like Hunter x Hunter, but for me, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, he is the writer of Hunter x Hunter, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Because he wanted to move on to Hunter x Hunter, so he just got rid of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
But Yu Yu Hakusho to me is just everything I loved about anime in like one package, and it beat Hunter x Hunter in my mind. Maybe Hunter x Hunter will beat it later on because Hunter x Hunter is not done. But Yu Yu Hakusho was an absolute joy to watch. Jordan, I hope you watch it sometime. It's only 112 episodes, and even though it's in the 90s, it felt very modern. I found, which was surprising. There's still like that little bit of old school 90s flavor to it with like the music and stuff.
I mean, look, after having watched Nana this year and opening myself up to a little more anime, I'm a little more open-minded in general about the art style of the late 90s now. So I'm willing to give stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin a chance, but you know, I really have to be in the right mindset for it. But usually I end up watching your number ones. So yeah.
I also just want to say one last thing about Yu Yu Hakusho that was amazing, and it was the best moment. We learned, there's a narrator who like narrates the show before like every episode. He's like, oh, Yusuke's fighting this guy. Yeah. We learn who the narrator is at the end, and I was like, holy crap.
Oh, that's sick.
It was amazing because it's a character you know. It was so good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was so, it blew my mind.
That sounds like Gossip Girl's ending. That's funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. God, well, that's our top 10 list. We're done for the year.
Yeah, we're done. 2020 is now completely behind us. Now we can finally begin 2021. New anime on the horizon. A lot of old anime coming back.
I have a good feeling that I'm going to be starting to watch a series that will be in my top 10 within the next 3 days. So, nice. Yeah, this winter season is going to be insane. So for any seasonal anime fans out there, you're definitely going to want to keep up with this one because it's crazy. And I can only imagine that everything that was postponed or delayed, even the ones that we don't know about because of the pandemic, are probably going to drop this year. We're getting My Hero Academia in spring. So it's going to be a crazy year. I can already feel it.
I also just want to give a shout out to the last season of Food Wars. Yeah, it was a good season. Not as good as the others, but I did enjoy it. It was probably like in my top 20. I don't know where it would be, but I do want to just bring it up. It's sad that Food Wars is finally over.
Yeah, because this is probably going to be the last time that we ever get to talk about it, unless we want to do a full series recap, which we probably will.
But thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to talk to us about anime directly, come join our Discord. It's getting more lively, and we'd love if you came and joined us.
Yeah, and for the 94% of you that aren't subscribed, what are you doing? Click the button. It's one click, and you get to hear more of these discussion videos, and you can talk to us directly because we're not a big channel yet, and we're not going to ignore you. So do that. Also hit the notification bell as well.
Yo, we got a bunny girl mascot. You better subscribe.
Yeah, and like, do you see how many artists are drawing her? It's because they like her. It's because she's great. We're gonna have the best channel mascot on YouTube come a year from now. So
yeah, take that, AI Chan. You're going down, AI Chan.
you're gonna want to be part of this before it blows up. So definitely hit that button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you later.
You're welcome.